Good morning, fellow Americans. I'd like to begin my speech with a joke. A ribosome, mitochondrion, chloroplast, cytoskeleton, and nucleus walk into a bar. Then they all shrivel up and die because they're not surrounded by a plasma membrane. On a serious note, the plasma membrane is a significant contributor to the existence and survival of the cell, perhaps more so than any other organelle. Just saying. To aid you in visualizing the plasma membrane, picture two layers of spheres incredibly close together, with each sphere containing two tails that separate the layers. Periodically along the line, big proteins act as transport tubes for molecules to enter and exit the cell. As you can see from this picture, it has an almost railroad track design. The contributions of the membrane cannot be overstated. First, the plasma membrane is the great provider, as you may have seen on our primary campaign poster. Water and small ions are allowed across the barrier and into the cell as a result of osmosis and diffusion. This is essential to preventing the dehydration and malnourishment of the cell itself. Also, carbon dioxide is allowed into the cell, necessary for performing photosynthesis in chloroplasts, as well as other required nutrients such as sodium and potassium. Waste is expelled from the cell through plasma membrane during active transport, another crucial process. Second, the plasma membrane is a great protector. It is responsible for keeping as many viruses and harmful bacteria out as possible, as well as retaining its compact composition so that the cytoplasm and organelles don't leak out and cease to function, as was mentioned in the opening joke. Acting as a great protector and provider are primary functions of the plasma membrane, and the cell would cease to exist if these tasks weren't accomplished. The preconceived notion of today's lesser-informed society result in one automatically thinking of nuclei, or possibly mitochondria, as the most important of all cell organelles. Then explain to me how prokaryotic cells existed for 1.6 billion years with simply ribosomes, genetic material, cytoplasm, and a cell membrane to hold everything together. There were no mitochondria, nuclei, chloroplasts, or cytoskeletons involved. Put simply, the ribosomes and cell membranes are the only two contestants even worth considering. This brings me to my next point. The inexcusable insults and smears brought upon the campaign need to be addressed. It has been implied that the plasma membrane causes sudden infant death syndrome, although this accuser did not mention how or why the two are related. However, the accuser is assumedly operating with the widely acknowledged theory that virus toxins are injected into the membrane, causing ion channel malfunctions. This is true, but the plasma membrane itself is not to blame, any more than you might be to blame for getting wet if it was raining outside. The membrane and you are victims, and it is through no mistake of the plasma membranes that infection strikes. Also, a notice in the classroom pointed out that the plasma membrane can cause Alzheimer's disease. This challenger has not, in fact, looked deeply enough into the research. One will find that Alzheimer's is caused by defects in the protein attached to the plasma membrane. While proteins are part of the membrane, their creation as well as their errors are entirely the responsibility of the protein-producing ribosomes. It is, in fact, ribosomes that we have to blame for Alzheimer's. These were the only two public scientific smears against the plasma membrane, showing the lack of material that the competing candidates possess that legitimately challenges the dominance of the cell membrane. However, to completely eliminate any and all allegations of membrane mistakes, I have researched and debunked 3 other accusations that the plasma membrane is responsible for disease and destruction. The retinal disorder known as choroideremia, as well as Hermansky-Pudlak and Griscelli syndromes, are all caused by errors in membrane protein coding. Therefore, they are results of screw-ups in the ribosomes and not the fault of the cell membranes. Also, I would like to point out that the plasma membrane is not named the plasma dumb-brain or the cell membrane, as other committees so eloquently and maturely put it. Based on my ability to refute the mud-singing of my colleagues, as well as assign the blame to the responsible party for these diseases, the ribosomes, I return to my previous statement. If, due to their age and necessity, the ribosomes and the cell membrane are the only two organelles worth voting for in the first place, and since I've just proved that several diseases are directly related to ribosome errors, the plasma membrane is the only valid remaining candidate. Please consider this interestingly logical supposition. In this speech, I have, to the best of my ability, conveyed why the plasma membrane is the most effective and important organelle and deserves your vote. Please choose wisely on Election Day. Thank you.